Welcome to stage 10. For this one, we've got to make two new parts. So we've got to make a cross block that's 3 long, and we've also got to make an axle with a pin connector in the middle. We'll start off with that longer cross block, and if we look at it, we've actually already made something very similar. We've made one with 2 holes instead of 3. Let's open that existing part. So from within your assembly, you can click on the part and press open, or you can just open the part directly. The part that we're now going to make is very similar, except it's got 2 holes here on the right instead of 1. So let's save this and make some changes to it. Go to File, Save As, and then choose Save As Copy and Open. And remember, if you don't get this pop-up, you can just choose it from the options down here on the left. And let's change the name to something like Cross Block 3 Long. So press Save As Copy and Open, and then press Save. And then you can close the original document if you like. Now let's have a quick look how we could modify this. So first we have the pin part, and then we added those 2 side ears. Then we added the middle rib, and we cut out that axle hole. So perhaps we could just use this finished part and we could just add on an extra hole on the end. But having a think about it, it might be easier if we extend those side ears, and then we can add the extra hole, but we'll still have all the correct rib and everything in the middle. So let's edit this sketch underneath the side ear feature. And let's change this 15.4 so we can fit an extra hole in there. We know that the holes are always spaced 8mm apart, so let's just double click on this 15.4 and add 8mm. So you can just write plus 8mm. That should be 23.4 in total. We can then press OK and exit that sketch, and then we can drag down to add the second one in, and then we can keep going down all the way to the bottom, and we've pretty much got everything we need there. We just need to add that second pinhole in. To do this, I'm going to go back above the pin rim, because that rim will apply to both holes. Then we can start a new sketch on the plane that goes down the middle of the part. So for me, this is the front plane. I'm going to get the circle tool, and I'm just going to draw a circle. This should be 8mm from that original pinhole. We also need a second circle for the hole that goes through the middle. So firstly, let's make this larger one tangent with the outer edge. And you might also just need to make sure that the center of it is lined up horizontally with the center of that original circle, like this. So that should fully define that large outer circle. Then the smaller inner one should be the same diameter as the hole through the pin on the left. So you can select both of those edges and make them equal. And you should have something like this. We can then do an extruded boss base mid-plane. And let's go the full width, so 7.4mm. That takes us out to the side like this. And let's call that second pin body. Then we also need to cut that hole through the middle. So I'm going to start another sketch on the front plane. I'm just going to select inside that face there and press Convert Entities. So that will make the outside of the face we've selected, which is the circle we want, into a new circle. We can then use an extruded cut, and we can go through all to cut that circle. And let's just call that something like second pinhole. So by making it this way, it means we've automatically got that correct cavity area in between the 2 pinholes. We can then drag down below the pin rim feature. So we've cut that out of the first hole. We also need it from the second one. So let's edit the sketch underneath that feature. And let's add another circle that's the same size as the first one, but that's lined up with the second pinhole. And you can just select them both and make them equal like this, and then exit the sketch, and you should cut that rim cut correctly from both of the holes. Now before we go down to the mirror, I'm just going to round off the inside edges of this cavity here. I'm going to get the fillet tool, and I'm going to set a fillet that's 0.5, and I'm going to add it to all 4 of those edges inside the cavity. We can then drag down below the mirror feature, and let's just edit that feature, and we'll add in that fillet that we just created. So here in Features to Mirror, let's just zoom in and select that fillet. And then we have our finished part like this, and let's change the color to that lime green. And I'm just going to edit the color to more closely match the real world part. And then you can save the part. So that's that one finished. In the next video, we'll be making the axle with a pinhole in the middle, and then after that we'll be making stage 10.